Hey, this is Joe at the Pour Over.
And this is Zan at the Pour Over.
Today, we're talking about a mass shooting in NYC, the hunger crisis in Gaza, pushback against the E.U.U.S. trade deal, and other top news for Wednesday, July 30th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the Pour Over.
Here's your quote of the day. Words which do not give the light of Christ increase the darkness. Mother Teresa. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
A lone gunman killed 4 people in New York City on Monday evening. Surveillance shows a man entering a Manhattan office tower, carrying an M4 rifle, opening fire in the lobby, then taking an elevator to the 33rd floor, the offices of the building's owners. He fatally shot an NYPD officer and 3 others before turning the gun on himself. The gunman, a 27-year-old from Las Vegas, carried a suicide note claiming he suffered from CTE, a brain disease linked to repeated head trauma, and requesting his brain be studied. The note said, quote, "You can't go against the NFL. They'll squash you," end quote. He reportedly played football in his youth and had a, quote, documented mental health history. Authorities believe the gunman drove cross-country from Vegas, targeting the NFL offices located in the building but landing on the wrong floor. While mourning with victims, Christians have hope in the face of a violent world. The servant of God, who himself did no violence, has been afflicted by his Father on our behalf so that we can live in the Lord's peaceful presence forever. Isaiah 53, verses 4 through 5 says, "Yet he himself bore our sicknesses, and he carried our pains. But we in turn regarded him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced because of our rebellion, crushed because of our iniquities. Punishment for our peace was on him, and we are healed by his wounds."
Harrowing images out of Gaza have sparked international outrage and dispute. Scenes of hunger and desperation have been circling the globe, with the UN-backed food security group warning that, quote, "the worst-case scenario of famine is currently playing out," end quote, in Gaza. The UN says 14 people died of starvation on Monday, and the Hamas-run health ministry says the total death toll since October 7th has surpassed 60,000. Israel has instituted humanitarian pauses to fighting and increased food deliveries, though Prime Minister Netanyahu says reports of famine are Hamas propaganda and maintains, quote, "there is no starvation in Gaza." President Trump disagrees, saying there's, quote, "real starvation," and promising the U.S. will set up food centers in Gaza to help. The UN celebrated progress, but said only, quote, "vast amounts of aid will prevent famine." The threat of famine in a war zone can leave us feeling heartbroken and helpless. Remember, the God who fed his people manna in the desert still reigns. Pray that Palestinians would hope in Christ, the bread of heaven, and that he'd provide their daily bread. Matthew 6:8-13 says, "Your Father knows the things you need before you ask him. Therefore, you should pray like this: Our Father in heaven, your name be honored as holy. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one."
President Trump is mixing business with high-security golf on his trip to Scotland. News of Uncle Sam's new trade deal, announced from the golf course, with the European Union drew swift backlash from key European leaders. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said the deal would, quote, "substantially damage Germany's economy," while French PM François Bayrou called it a, quote, "dark day," and likened the deal to submission. The agreement still needs approval from all 27 EU member states. Meanwhile, Number 47 promised severe sanctions against Russia in 10 to 12 days unless a ceasefire was reached with Ukraine, shortening his previous 50-day deadline due to a lack of progress. Trump wrapped up his Scotland trip with a final round of golf, this time at his family's new course in the village of Balmedy, which will host a PGA Senior Championship later this week. Here's a verse to consider whether you have a world-altering work trip or spend your day cleaning toilets. Commit your activities to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Proverbs 16, verse 3.
Hey, it's Ellie from The Pour-Over, and I'm officially in my breezy summer era, swapping out my cold weather wardrobe for linen everything. And with Quint, the transition's been effortless. Their linen is 100% European flax, which sounds fancy, and is, but their summer staples come without the fancy price tag. I grabbed a couple pairs of linen pants and some overalls, and have zero budget regret. Whether I'm heading to church, packing for vacation, or just trying not to sweat through another Tuesday, Quint is my new breezy BFF. Stick to the staples that last. With elevated essentials from Quint, go to quince.com/TPO for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/TPO to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing to the Supreme Court. The former Epstein associate is asking the justices to overturn her sex trafficking conviction, citing Jeffrey Epstein's 2007 plea deal with federal prosecutors. She argues the agreement, protecting, quote, potential co-conspirators, including but not limited to, end quote, 4 named individuals, should shield her as well. The deal doesn't name Maxwell, leaving room for legal interpretation.
Novo Nordisk is dropping weight and profits. Citing slower U.S. growth for its blockbuster weight loss shot Wegovy, the drug maker named a new CEO Tuesday and slashed its sales forecast. Investors weren't thrilled. Shares dropped over 20%. Company veteran Maziar Mike Dustar will take over in August, following the surprise ousting of the former CEO in May.
Being fruitful and multiplying now comes with a cash bonus in China. The country announced it will pay families 3,600 yuan, about $500 a year, for 3 years each time they have a baby in the hopes of boosting low birth rates. The new incentives mark a 180-degree shift from its contentious one-child policy, which ended in 2015 after 35 years.
China's CEO monk is in hot water, and not the relaxing kind. Shi Yongxin, who has run China's famed Shaolin Temple since 1999 and is credited with popularizing Shaolin Kung Fu, has been defrocked and is under investigation for embezzlement, affairs, and other un-Zen behavior. The Buddhist leader was investigated in 2015 for similar allegations, but charges were dropped.
Coach Prime beat a new opponent, cancer. NFL Hall of Famer and Colorado football head coach Deion Sanders, age 57, says he underwent surgery to remove his bladder after a tumor was discovered there. At a news conference, his doctor pronounced him cancer-free, and Primetime said he will continue coaching the Buffaloes this season.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great day. See you on Friday. Turns out your scrolling, browsing, and online shopping isn't so private. Hackers can access your personal info, conversations, and location details all with your IP address. Keep your deets out of hackers' hands with Surfshark. Their VPN hides your IP address from prying eyes, letting you bypass geolocation tracking and keeping your scrolls and searches how they should be: private. Try it today at the link in the show notes.